The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Please be seated. As you all know, today is Youth Sunday, and as your preacher for today, and since this is my first time preaching, I'd like to give a brief introduction of myself. My name is Stephanie Egwim. I'm 15 years old, and I go to Montgomery Blair High School, which isn't a far trip from here. I've been going to Trinity for my whole life, and I can't remember a time when I didn't go here. And what brings me the most joy when coming to Trinity is being able to serve as an acolyte for all of you, alongside my brother, William, who just read the Old Testament. Today, I'd like to preach to you about faith and family. One of the most important things to me is my journey in faith, and that wouldn't be complete without my confirmation. Last year, on May 20th, I was confirmed at the Washington National Cathedral. This was a significant milestone on my journey of faith. It strengthened my relationship with God and the church. Not only was it a commitment, it was a show of reverence for God. Now, I've been lucky enough not to have any major stumbles on my journey, but I know for a fact that everyone has to go through challenges in life. But as the gospel for today reiterates, if anything is causing you to stumble, then it's better to live without it than to suffer with it. That is the moment when salt loses its saltiness. And the way to make it salty again is to rely on our faith and our family to guide us through those hard times. Another core part of my journey in faith are my prayers. Every night, before going to bed, me and my sister Whitney pray a verse in the Bible. We also pray as a whole family sometimes, with my mom leading those prayers. I think it's important to mix faith and family together because it doesn't just strengthen you on your journey in faith, it also brings you closer to your family. And I feel like we can all forget how important it is to have a strong familial bond. I can confidently say that I've argued with my siblings more than enough times, which I'm sure most of you can relate to. But after being mad at each other, we always eventually come to forgive each other. So I think it's nice to have a practice that you can do together to nourish that bond. Because there are times when we stumble, and we can start to forget all the good times that we've had with each other. But it's not about the falling down that's important, it's about how you get back up. The last but not least part of my journey in faith is going to and serving in church. Like I said before, I've been going to Trinity for my whole life. I started serving when I was maybe around 7 or 8 years old. It's been a long time, I can't even count. And it was a bit less consistent when COVID started, but as we've been slowly transitioning out of it, we've been going to church regularly again. And I can't imagine what my journey would be like without Trinity. I've only gone to a few other churches in my life, but there's no other place that I'd rather worship in. It's like a second home to me, and I always feel welcome here. Serving as an acolyte, training to be a sub-deacon, and listening to the readings have given me so much knowledge and understanding of the Bible. But it's also taught me important lessons I didn't know I needed. Today's gospel, for example, taught me that if somebody isn't my enemy, then I have no need to hold a grudge against them or hate them due to any gossip or rumors that I've heard about them. And those people should be rewarded for not wishing anything bad onto me. So church has definitely had the most influence on my journey. So before I start to talk about the challenges that the youth face, I'd like my dad to stand up. You can see him recording over there. My mom isn't able to be here today due to work, but I'm just as grateful for her as him because they've both done a wonderful job at raising me and at helping me on my journey of faith. I would also like to thank Deacon Alethea for helping me write this. So, thank you for that. Now I'd like to focus on the challenges that the youth face. I think the most important thing to focus on would be safety. There are a lot of dangers that kids can face at school or just mentally. And I think one thing that we can do as a community to make that amount less is by teaching kids how to be kind to everyone around them. Because you'll get into a lot less conflicts if you're just a nice, honest, and genuine person. And again, circling back to the gospel, we have to teach them that whoever isn't against them is for them. We also have to make sure that children don't suffer alone. If they need a shoulder to lean on, they should be able to trust their church, their school, or any adult to help them. Another thing I think we need to focus on for kids at Trinity or at any other church is making sure that they're welcome to go to Sunday school. Just as church was an important aspect of my faith, it could also be just as important for them. Since they're just starting on their journey in faith, they need something that can push them further on that path. Even if it's not as important for them, it can still be, even if it's not that important, it's the faith that they have in God that really matters. Young people are the salt of the earth because they're just starting on their journey of faith. But sometimes we can all stumble and we can start to lose faith. That's why we need our family to lift us up. It's important to have that faith because it gives you something to lean on. Whenever you're distressed or in times of trouble, you'll have your faith and your family to rely on. And if you don't have one, you can at least have the other, because it's never too late to have faith in God, because what he can't do for you doesn't exist. And I know that when I'm feeling stressed, I can rely on my faith and on my prayers to guide me through it. And when I need to talk to my family for help, I know that they'll always be there for me, and I'm grateful for everything that they've done for me. So, to close, I'd like to restate that the journey of faith and having family for support is important for the children and for the youth to thrive, because when you can't get up, you'll have either or both to lift you back up. In the Lord's name we pray. Amen. Thank you.